What happens when you take a Total War skirmish and combine it with a Slay the Spire style of roguelite? Well, you get Tabletop Tavern. And I got a feeling this game is going places. Hey folks, my name is Pravus, and yeah, we're gonna take a look at Tabletop Tavern today. I've been playing this game for a couple of hours so far, done a few runs, and I'm really enjoying it, so I think it deserves a spotlight. This game came out just a few days ago, and so far it seems to be on a roll, which is pretty great for a solo indie dev project. Let me go ahead and jump directly into a new campaign so you can see what we are working with. Now, as I said, this game is very heavily inspired by Total War. A lot of the interface is going to be very similar and familiar to you if you play those games. There are a number of different fantasy factions we can pick from. We're going to have humans, goblins, elves, dwarves, undead. You get the idea. For the sake of things, we're going to be playing around with the Raven Host, a Viking-themed group here, which has a couple of special abilities. Melee infantry get extra defense and armor, and we get more money from battle rewards, which is actually going to be huge. We also are going to start off with some spearmen, some huskarls, and a couple of ranged skirmishers. Not incredibly strong, but that's a-okay. And welcome to Act 1 of the campaign. Now, right off the bat, you're going to see from this map, this looks pretty familiar to those of you who played Slay the Spire style of roguelites. Lots of different branching paths with different events at every step. For now, let's go ahead and collect ourselves an item, which is going to give us a nice little boost. We can get extra interest. I'll come back to that later. Double truth health recovery is pretty good, or melee units just get extra melee attack. I mean, you combine that with the fact that I already have Texas Barbecue, which makes my melee units also get more attack, so sure, why not? Let's just go ahead and double up on that, and we're just going to do a load of damage. I'm going to start by going over in this direction where there is a river and some enemies that we'll be skirmishing against. In this case, it looks like some undead. We've got a couple of shielded units, some feral hounds, so light cavalry, and some spearmen. Now, we could auto-resolve this, and you can see exactly how much damage we would take if we do so, but most of the time, unless you're really bad at the game, you can probably do a better job than the auto-resolve. So unless you're in a hurry, it's usually better to just go ahead and fight the battle yourself. Which brings us to this map. Now, we can roll for initiative, which will determine if we are deploying first or second. I rolled a 2, so I go first. They get to see where my units are going to be placed. So here we can see we are quite literally on a tabletop, right? This is the person I'm fighting against. There I am right there. Hello, looking great. Kind of fun. But for now, let's think about the map here. So there's a couple little river crossings that we might be able to take advantage of using some of my melee units. Honestly, this setup isn't looking so bad as it kind of is right now, so I'm just going to go ahead and start the battle. Let's move these guys into a position where I think I will be able to do a little bit of a bottleneck, and we'll try shooting things down with some of my skirmishers. I'm especially wanting to probably take out some of their spearmen, since they're not going to have shields and therefore are not as easily defended against arrows. And we want to shoot down these feral hounds as they approach, because one thing I do not want is to be getting flanked. I'm going to let them otherwise mostly come up to me. Let's try to intercept those hounds, get my spearmen into position. If I had more units, I'd happily be moving things around and trying to flank enemies, but since we're not going to be able to do that, it's just going to be what it's going to be. Let's see if we can't shatter these hounds quickly, and then we can start trying to flank some of these guys. Might even relocate some of these archers into a position where they'll easily be able to do some flanking damage. Since these guys are currently pinned, let's move them forward. So far, I haven't lost a single character model, which is great. Keep trying to burn this down. We can speed things up a little bit. Notice units do have a morale bar, so just like they would work in a game like Total War, you can shatter enemies. Sometimes that is the best way to actually defeat your enemy, is just to demoralize them, and that's where doing some flanking damage can be very, very effective. Enemy host defeated. I took absolutely no losses out of that arrangement. Well, that's awesome. The result is we're going to get ourselves a big reward. We're going to be claiming a bounty of a little bit of money. We could also ransom captives, or we could conscript one of the surviving units at half health. Now, their units were terrible, so I don't want to do that. I'd rather just take a bunch of money. And then I get to recruit a unit from my own faction. We could get ourselves some thralls, some more skirmishers, or just more thralls. The thralls do have shields, which is nice, not bad. However, I think I'm going to take another skirmisher here. There is an ability to combine your units into a prestiged form. What you would do is take 3 of a kind here, and then you can hit prestige. That combines them into one unit that is a bit stronger. Now, early on in the game, that's a terrible strategy. It's better to have lots of numbers, but eventually, once your roster is getting pretty full, you're going to want to start combining units, and having the ability to do that is going to be quite nice. We could go for an event over here, or we could go for another skirmish. To be honest, we take a lot of extra money from just doing fights, and this was so easy that I think I'm just going to do it again. Roll for initiative. This time I get to deploy second, so we see exactly where they're going to be. All right, they're going to have their spears on the sides and shields in the front. That makes perfect sense. To be honest, I don't even think that I need to change this either. Let's go ahead and just start moving forward. Why it kind of moves these units around in a weird way, I don't know. They want to crisscross around when they really probably shouldn't, but it's fine. I'm going to have you actually go ahead and start doing this to just start pelting this guy, and you're going to try to get into a flanking position, because I can just about guarantee this AI is otherwise not going to be messing with me. They've got a pretty big numbers advantage, but like since they're literally ignoring me, let's just go ahead and just flank them, and that's going to help them demoralize extra fast so I can start focus firing on stuff that I do care about. You can move over this way a little bit as well. They seem to be holding their own pretty nicely. Honestly, I'm surprised these spears are not taking any damage. They've got no shield, so you would expect this to be a little bit tougher, but there we go. The flanking once again wins. Thank you. This is why I tend to really like having lots of cavalry units, but you gotta be careful because every faction does have very different stat lineups, and the result is some are really squishy, some are incredibly powerful. You always have to play with what you are given. Once again, ransom the captains. Let's go ahead and get another bounty and recruit a unit. You can periodically get yourself an uncommon unit or better, which is awesome, but since we don't have that, let's go ahead and just get myself some more shields up here in the front. Now, money is especially important in this game for a lot of reasons. First off, whenever you go to any of these towns, you could choose to sack it, or you can choose to, you know, just enter peacefully, which is great if you want to heal any of your units, and also you can spend money recruiting more units, which is nice. If we were to fight them, we will instead loot some gold and some gear. We could probably conscript somebody here, but I don't get to heal. Now, since I've taken no damage, that's actually kind of fine with me, so I think I'm going to go ahead and fight this garrison. But the reason that gold matters beyond all of that is when you enter a town, you can also deposit your money. Money is used for progression in this game, like in between runs. That's why it's a roguelite. So you kind of need to have as much gold as possible. The more of it you got, the better off things are going to be. Now, in order to help with that, stockpiling money and hoarding it's pretty good because you get something here called interest. Every 5 gold that I've got, I'm going to have an extra 1 gold at turn end. So the less I spend up front, the more money I'll have over the course of the game. But of course, the less units I have, the more risk I'm taking. So we're going to go ahead and fight this garrison. Not going to auto-resolve. I think we can win this pretty easily without many losses. This time around, they have some walls that are defending them, plus they have some towers that are going to be shooting at me, so we got to be careful with that. I'm going to send my range units up here first so that they can tank all the blows. Since they are shielded, they are better able to absorb arrows without much issue. The archers will be right behind them, and these pullmen here can be a little bit behind there. Okay, let's go ahead and move these guys forward. You guys go and attack the gate. Let them absorb the hits first. We are currently in a foggy situation, which is greatly reducing the range of my units, which is a small problem, but I mean, we're going to have to just live with it. They can't shoot at me over the walls, and I can't shoot at them. We just have to find a way to break through these gates. It's meant to really soften you up, and already I've lost like 1 guy here, which isn't that big of a deal, but yeah, whenever you fight a bigger city, you're going to take some losses. That is basically inevitable. Let's see if we can't help take down this gate we're shooting at with our archers. And now we flood in and just try to burn these guys down so fast so I can get into a better position to deal with their skirmishers, which we will do now. Get in there. Okay, can we get, let's say, you to come around over here and we'll get into a flanking position, please. That breaks them even faster. Good. Then we're going to move up over here. You guys can get over this way. For some reason, my units are not quite attacking the way that I want them to, but that's okay. I want to get over here and do some flanking, but they should die. So we lose a handful of units, but it's not a big deal. And in the meantime, because we are sacking this fort, we're going to get a pretty hefty reward this time around. Some items, by the way, increase how much gold you get by a drastic amount. So that's taken care of. Enter the town. We get 4 gold. We get to loot some gear, which is worth quite a lot here. So let's open this up and see what random item we are going to get. It is uncommon units get extra armor. Well, we have 2 uncommon units, so that actually is not half bad. That makes them extra survivable. We can conscript from the survivors, and I think I will. And for some reason, we got to prestige one of my units for free. I am not especially sure why, but you can see this guy is silver now. Why did that happen? I actually don't know. 2 of my characters prestiged. How'd that happen? Well, I'm not complaining. That's great, but I know there are some characters that have the ability to get prestige every time you burn down a city, but I didn't think it was this guy. Cool. All right, so these guys are just a little bit more effective. That's awesome. Let's hold on to that. We're going to go to an event. Now, we have our little dungeon master here who's giving us something, the Haunted Chapel. So we can roll a dice, and if we get above 13, we get gold. We can prestige a unit. If we fail, we lose some health. Or we could say, hell no, we could heal our units, get some prestige, or we could try to avoid it, better healing. Or we could hire an exorcist for money, which just has no downside, and we have a chance to heal up some units. I'm not really going to be losing a lot, so I could try for the prestige here. Yeah, let's try it. Let's see if we can't prestige ourselves. We rolled a 1! Oh, a critical fail. Okay. You can spend gold to try and boost this up. The question is it worth spending 8 in order to heal my units and to prestige them? I'm going to go with no, probably not. That's a lot of money. But ow, what a result. Critical failure, 25% health reduction. Yowzes, that's not what you want to see. Let's go to another game over here where we could gamble some of our money, or I could buy a round for everyone to just heal up, which I will do. So that spends 5 gold, but everyone's back up to full health, no big deal. Let's go for, do you want to go for the swamp and the rain? River, fog. I don't want to reduce the accuracy of my units, so I'll just go ahead and take the rain. That seems better. Since we don't have any large units, that is to say cavalry. Could do an auto-resolve, not going to. I'll just fight this one on my own once again, but this time I'll just go ahead and jump forward. It's all just shield units, which, you know, yeah, sure, that would normally be a problem, but we're pretty much better than they are in every way, so we just shatter them without any issue whatsoever, which is going to get me a whole bunch of money, and we can recruit ourselves another unit. Still not getting anything uncommon, unfortunately, but we can get ourselves some more shieldmen. I mean, we've got a couple of nice little benefits here for melee units. Like, these guys do a hefty amount of damage considering how weak they're supposed to be. Let's go to this Iron Legion castle. Now, again, we could fight this garrison, but they're a lot stronger, and they've got artillery, which is really dangerous for me. So I'm just going to peacefully enter the town, which heals everybody. We could recruit some units from their faction specifically, but for 20 gold, I don't know about that one. I think I'd rather just leave. Now, I could deposit the gold, but I am getting a pretty decent amount of interest. Let's think about that for a second. The most interest I can get is 5, so there's not really an advantage to holding on to more than 25 unless I think I'm going to be buying something. So let's just go ahead and toss some money into the pile. Let's just say 20 or so for now. That leaves me with 30 gold later that I can use when we go to, let's say, this Gruntkin city over here if I want to. And in fact, I will. Let's go in that direction over here. We're going to fight some more folks. Again, the undead. This time they have some mist wraiths, which are a lot more dangerous. And the Night Riders, some large cavalry units, which could be a problem. This is a pretty easy auto-resolve. Honestly, it's so little damage. I'll just go ahead and take it. Once again, let's claim everything, recruit a unit. We are going to get one more thrall here. I can now prestige another unit here if I want to, which is fine. Head toward this Gruntkin city because the goblins are just so weak I can definitely beat them. This is a little bit worse. Let's go ahead and manually control this. Roll for initiative. We get to go second so I can see where they are. They have wraiths on both sides, levies in the middle, and they have some hounds. Okay. Now, as the fights in this game get larger and larger, positioning and how you do your formations matters a lot more. I find that it is sometimes pretty good to have a nice wide line like this, nice and skinny. That's enough to hold them back and kind of easily fold in around them so that you can hopefully just flank more easily. And that's what I'm going to be shooting for here. So we'll do some archers on the side, we'll do some spearmen on the side, and we're going to try to flank while we hold the center. Hopefully that's okay. Let them start coming to me. Let's see what they're going to do. The wraiths are a lot faster, so we should be able to fold around them pretty nicely. Let's see if we can't intercept over here. You guys start moving forward. You guys start moving forward. This is looking okay so far. You come in around, then you also are going to do some flanking. Now we're going to try to hit these wraiths with everything we've got. I see they're moving their hounds over in this direction, so I'd like to intercept them with spearmen before they become a problem for me. And you turn around, start hitting some of these guys from behind. All right, so the wraiths are going to be getting flanked. I'm actually getting flanked a little bit as well. Let's try pulling this back just a little bit. Make sure that we don't actually get hit from behind, because then I lose a lot of morale. The wraiths are not going to be giving up very easily, unfortunately. So we're not going to be able to shatter them too easily. We're probably going to have to kill them all. These hounds are going down, at which point we turn around and start hitting these guys from behind. We're already flanking. Yeah, this is pretty good. The only thing that hurts right now is these guys are taking a lot of damage. That's not a big deal in the sense that once I prestige them, we'll be able to fill up their numbers a pretty nice amount. But it is unfortunate because, you know, I want to keep these guys alive as long as possible. All right, so that hurt. Wraiths are nasty. We knew that to be the case, but it's fine. We could try to recruit one of them, and there's a good chance we get something nice, but honestly, this is still so much extra ransoming. I think I'd rather just do that. Still no uncommon units. Really, though? You just don't want to give me anything nice? Okay, that's fine. Let's get one more skirmisher because I'll be able to prestige that again as well. So we'll have a couple of prestige levies and a couple of prestige skirmishers when we get to that point. Do we want to take this city? Or do we want to heal? I think I'd rather just go ahead and try to take the city, because I think this should be a garrison we can handle. Well, I say that. Hang on. They've got catapults, and they've got some really big melee infantry. Maybe I can't. I'm not scared about these archers. I'm not really scared of these guys. The artillery's the thing that messes with me. You know what? It's safer just go ahead and enter the town. Let's do that. I am most definitely not recruiting a unit for 40 gold. There's a chance of getting a tier 3, but they're still goblins. So I'm going to go with no. Let's instead just go ahead and deposit a whole bunch of money. We'll lock that progression in, make sure I still am getting plenty of interest. Everyone is full health, which means we're ready to go for a boss fight. At the end of every act, you fight a particularly nasty group. In this case, they've got a whole bunch of Deathhaven fiends, and they've even got some Bloodsworn melee infantry and a Shade Lord. Yeah, these guys are going to hurt. If I auto-resolve, I will lose one of these levies, but otherwise we would win. I think we'll just go ahead and try to do this manually. On fights like this, getting to play second is a really big advantage. Nice, rolled a 6. All right, what are we working with over here? It's definitely the Shade Lords and the Bloodsworn that scare me. The good news is most of them don't have shields, so they're armored and they won't take as much damage, but they'll be pretty vulnerable to my arrows. And then lots of melee infantry here, anti-large, etc. Okay, how do we handle this? I think we do the same basic thing as before. We set ourselves into a position where we can hold the line, then start flanking them with arrows and with spears. And as long as our center doesn't shatter, I think we'll be okay. They're charging directly after me right now. Now, enemies do have a charge bonus, so if they run into your front line, then they can definitely do a little bit of extra damage. Especially useful if you're going to have some big, strong cavalry. Let's try spreading out a little bit more here. I am very concerned that they are going to be able to smash through my front line, so I'm going to angle my units a little bit so it's harder for them to pull that off. Move you forward. We're going to have you intercept, you come forward, and then do this. You guys come forward, and then we can flank elsewhere. Actually, you need to go intercept the hounds, because they're going to hit my archers if we're not careful. Let's see. This might be enough to go ahead and start flanking there. Let's do that. Good. And we are trying to flank some of you. You get in there. Stop that. You hit this. Okay. So now we are definitely in the thick of it here. The cavalry here is going to fall pretty easily. Then we can swoop in and flank in this direction. It's this right here that's going to be nasty. These Shade Lords aren't really getting into the fight too much, which is my main saving grace. So we kind of stack them on top of each other, which makes it easier for me to pick them off bit by bit. Let's try once again to move a little further forward so we can truly flank. Their hounds are going to fall pretty soon, at which point I can then swoop around that way. You, same deal. Let's go over there. Perfect. We've almost dealt with this infantry. Awesome. You move forward. You start hitting here. You also try to shatter. You come around like so. Good. All right. So far, so good. We're holding it together. That unit's about to shatter. Okay. Still need to burn those guys down a little bit faster, if and you please. That's about to go away. Come on, a little bit more, and these guys are out of here. Definitely hitting them from behind. Nice. Nice. I like this. This is looking good so far. Losing quite a few units, but I mean, like, as long as we win, I think it's fine. I need you to turn around and start hitting this guy. These guys are now breaking. Good. So now you guys can do the same. My archers are starting to run out of ammunition, which is a problem. Looks like I have lost a couple of units. They have shattered at this point. Okay, that's a small problem. Let's see if we can't get in here and do something. You're out of ammo. We can try to flank in a couple different directions. This is looking kind of dicey, I'm not going to lie. We're in there, but we're out of ammunition, and it's going to be a problem if we're not careful here. My units are starting to fall off. His Shade Lords are all that's left. Okay. Good. So did we lose any units, or did they just break and run away? If they just broke and run away, I can live with that. I just need to heal up, and then we'll be fine. Looks like I didn't lose anything. Good. Okay, so out of that, we could recruit an uncommon unit, or I could try to conscript something and get some money, blah, blah, blah. Let's see if we can conscript something really big here. There we go. We can get the Shade Lords. Of course, I'm going to take those. Those are going to go into your reserves. Now, when you need to heal up your units, one thing you can do is just take them off the front lines, let them sit over here. They'll regain like a quarter of their health per turn or something along those lines. So it's a good way to kind of cycle units out, and it's one reason you want to have very good reserves sitting around. For our recruitment, what do we want here? More Huskarls, some better archers, spears. I mean, I don't know. I feel like the Huskarls have been doing some pretty darn good work for me so far. Because not only are they shielded, which is great for blocking missiles, but they also do ignore enemy armor, which is awesome. So I'm going to pick that up. I think that's fine. And we get to move on to Act 2, the Silken Reaches. There's probably going to be a lot of elves and stuff around here now, which is kind of nasty. Let's get over to this fire here. We have a couple of different options. We could rest and heal up all my units by 30%, which is very useful. We could scavenge another item. If I had more slots, I'd consider that, or we could just sell some of these, but I kind of want to keep them. Train up in a prestige, a random unit, which is basically like getting 2 freebies, so it's actually really good, but I kind of need the healing, I think, so let's go ahead and pick that up so I don't risk losing anything important. All right, so these guys are looking pretty strong now. Where do we want to go going forward? We can probably stick toward the middle. That will get me toward like some shops and other things. Raven Host, Deep Stone, Dwarves. Just looking around. There's an item over this direction. Dracosaurs. I think those are lizardmen. And then the Sanguine Court. Maybe we take the left path. I don't think there's any downside to doing that. Let's pop over here. I might want to cycle a few units around. Let's see what we're working with. Oh, okay, we're fighting the Eastern faction, and they do have some Huacha artillery, and they have some bombardiers. Yeah, fighting artillery really sucks. Great way to lose a lot of units, especially if you're very infantry heavy. This is where I wish I had either some cavalry for fast movers, or I wish I had some units with the Outrider ability, which would let me start flanking enemies from the very beginning, deploy them on their side of the battle. What might make some sense is to go ahead and prestige this unit up, so we'll do that, and then bring you over so we have more shields. And then I can now safely bring over you as well, so we have our Shade Lords. That slightly improves my odds, but not by an absolute ton. This is gonna hurt. Let's roll for initiative and see what we're gonna get over here. All right, a 4. I do not want to fight over here. There's a goblin barracks around this tree, which means that the enemy gets extra attacks, so we want to fight them over here. Where are your artillery? They're over there? Okay, they've got really long range. This is a huge disadvantage for me. Absolutely massive. They're pretty slow. If I place further back, maybe I can draw their units forward and deal with them before I get bombarded. Alternatively, I want to place far forward and get into their line because enemy artillery does friendly fire damage, so if you do this correctly, they might actually leave me alone. I don't actually believe that for a second, but I mean, like, I gotta try something. I think we're just gonna have to rush it, if I'm completely honest. So they're gonna sit tight for a second while they kind of figure out what to do, but I'm already in range, so we're just gonna have to go for it. Let's start moving forward. I'm highly concerned about their ability to make use of cavalry against me, but let's see what happens. Off we go, guys. Okay, yeah, already they're doing a fair bit of damage there. But that's why I got to go fast. The Huacha is slow, which is great. All right, they're moving the cavalry over this direction, so he's going for a flank. Let's see if we can't get our spearmen into position to deal with that. I think we can with the anti-large units. I might need to do a flank on you because those are pretty heavy duty. My archers are getting absolutely shmacked right now, but their artillery is starting to fall. Good, thank you. Okay, so with the artillery down, this gets a whole lot easier. For some reason, this guy didn't actually get into a fight. Ouch. Okay. Can we hit their cavalry a little harder, if you please? Good. All right. We came out of that pretty far ahead from what they originally were going to give us, and that's mostly because we did rush down that artillery before it became a problem. Might be worth trying to conscript from them and see if I can't get one of those artillery myself. We're guaranteed to get at least an uncommon unit or better. Okay, we got their bombardiers. It's pretty good. I mean, since we have so many melee buffs, I'm kind of tempted to go for, you know, one of these instead, but I think that it would be nice to be able to have some of my own artillery, so let's pick that up. That's going to have to heal. Then we can conscript one of our own units, Shield Maidens. Different from the Huskarls. Unfortunate, because otherwise we might have been able to prestige that. So instead, I'm going to take some more Spearmen, I think. That's fine. We'll need to swap some stuff around. Do something kind of like this, let these guys heal for a little bit. Let's pop into another one of these fights. Okay, they have artillery again. An auto-resolve looks extremely painful, and we would lose our Shade Lords, which I don't want to do. Notice they do have some infiltrators, though. This is an Outrider unit, so he will be able to pop behind me, and that could be dangerous to my back line. We've got to be ready for that. Roll for initiative. Okay, we got to play second. Let's see where he is currently set up. So it says the infiltrators are back here. I don't know if that's actually true. We're going to pay attention to this and find out. I still am kind of wary of it. So there's artillery. That's especially dangerous around this river because it means we're going to have a big chokehold right here. Not a fan of that, but I don't see a safe way of rushing this without taking a lot of damage. What I might have to do is try to draw them out over here, let their infantry outrun their artillery, try to fight them in this area while they're getting in position. And if we can swoop around and kill them quickly, then these guys can cross the river and try to hit their artillery before they're ready. At least such is my hope. I knew the Outriders were going to be over here. I knew it. They were lying. Okay, let's go ahead and shoot these guys. They're going to try to kill some of my archers, which is obviously no bueno. Fortunately, we had some infantry nearby to deal with them, so we should be able to kill them off fairly quickly, I think. But they are surprisingly tanky and kind of holding their ground more than I expected them to be able to. But all right. Yeah, see how slow the artillery is? This might give me an opportunity. If I can kill these guys off and then rush, we might be able to deal with that. So I'm going to have to let them come to me for a moment, just for a bit longer. We've used up so much ammunition on these guys, it feels like an absolute waste, but the fog is killing a lot of my range and accuracy, and that's kind of a big part of the problem. Good news is it should impact them as well, but... all right, hang on. Actually, pull back for a second. Let's try to move you out of here a little. I want them to keep coming after me. You guys need to run forward. They've got some muskets, which is a bit of a problem. Now we're going to run up here. We're going to try to hit the artillery. They're trying to target these guys. If we technically just keep running, we might actually be able to kite them back a bit. So let's try for that. Nope, now they're turning around and trying to hit this. Okay, so let's run in. You're going to deal with that. You guys are going to run up over here, try to hit this. Archers, it's going to be hard to get them into position, but if we can, we're going to try to do some range damage on them because it's usually pretty effective. They're very weak, and I'm way, way, way more concerned about trying to take out this artillery than any of their infantry right now because they're just getting so many free shots off. These guys, in the meantime, can easily just move around and surround these guys, so that's fine. We're getting right up into their face, so I think they're screwed now. They did some damage. You need to start pulling back because these spearmen are getting obliterated by these Hokushu. I don't like that. I don't like it, but we've got reserves, so we'll deal with that instead. Thank you. Okay, they're starting to retreat over here, which is awesome. Then we can just throw everything else we've got over in this direction and deal with them. I don't care about inflicting more casualties. We're looking okay. So we're flanking these guys. This should now be a foregone conclusion. Took a fair bit of damage here, but we knew that might indeed happen. But otherwise, it could have been a heck of a lot worse. Really wish I had some good cavalry units, you know? That would make a big difference right now. It really would. Do I conscript from the survivors? Yeah, let's see what else we can get here. Another bombardier? Or we can get the infiltrators. It's a pretty effective way of dealing with their artillery, I'm not gonna lie. I'm kind of tempted to get one of these. Let's prestige these guys to make some space, first off. And yeah, I'm going to try playing with some infiltrators. Let's just see what we can do with that. Then we'll recruit one of our own units. Oh, cool. We actually get our own artillery. Look at that. It's an option, or we could go for another spear just so we could prestige that too, which is okay. Doing a quick comparison here, I mean, our Draugr bolt throwers have longer range and better accuracy, which is kind of nice for artillery. That said, I don't know. These bombardiers are anti-infantry. I think I might want to keep these. Yeah, let's go for the spear, just so I have options for prestiging going forward. Now we can go into one of these villages. This is a good opportunity for me to heal, so that's what I'm going to do. Let's... we could take this, actually. Risky, risky, risky. But I've got artillery. We could totally win this fight. Oh, it comes down to how much do I want to heal. I want to fight it. Almost negligible amount of damage just from an auto-resolve. Let's just do that. That's fine. Okay, cool. We loot a whole bunch of gold. We can get ourselves some more gear. I may have to get rid of something if I don't think it's valuable to me. Cost of recruiting units from town reduced by 2 gold. Nah. Do we conscript any survivors? We can certainly take a look at them. Well, there is some cavalry. We have been talking about that. That said, they're also not great, but they are outrider units too. Ooh, I could really counter a lot of stuff doing this. All right, let's go ahead and prestige these guys up. Pick up the riders, deposit gold again. Just trying to lock in that progression, all right? It's really important we have progression. I do really want to have the option to go to another town at some point soon, because even if I don't want to raise it, I could get some more health. So I think we're going to try to go down this middle and or right path and then have the option to pivot over to one of these later. So let's go here. More Easterners. Lots of ranged infantry infiltrators here. Holy crud. Okay. But there are some more artillery. Okay, I want these guys to keep healing. This is a good opportunity to make use of this auto cavalry. Let's go ahead and fight the battle. Roll for initiative, please. Dang it. All right, well, let's see what they're going to do. So I don't know where their infiltrators are going to be, but they're going to be all over the place. That means I want to be kind of clustered back, I think, because they're going to go straight after things like my artillery and my archers. I need to have some units ready to defend against that for absolute sure. I'm honestly not even concerned about their front line that much. I think that's going to be easy to deal with. So let's place a little bit further back this time. And I'll place my artillery forward in a position to intercept some of their infantry as they come forward. So this protects my back line, my front line. The archers are safe, the artillery's safe. And the Outrider Cavalry will start up way over here, and hopefully that's out of the way enough I can kind of get a read of the map and then see what to do. The other good thing about Outrider Cavalry is even if they don't have artillery, the AI can be kind of stupid, and then they just kind of prioritize one unit and then follow them forever. So one light cavalry Outrider units can do a lot to just kind of distract them, kite them all over the place, and waste their time. It can be very, very effective. So let's see what we are working with here. There's a whole bunch of infiltrators. Okay, so you guys popped over this direction, which is fine. I'm going to keep most of the units where they are. Split these guys off to force them into a position where they get flanked. My artillery can take a shot at these guys right off the bat. They're a little slow to respond. Let's see what they end up doing with this. They are going to send their foot samurai to chase after my outriders. That is such an unbelievably dumb choice because I will be able to run circles around them and still probably get to their huacha if I want to. So, yeah, really dumb call on their part, but okay. Pay attention to what's happening over here. We do not want to shoot our own guys, so let's be careful with my artillery and what we're doing there. All right, so if you're going to keep running over here, that's ideal. I see them facing in my direction. What are you going to do with that artillery? You're just going to sit there for a bit? That's okay. Artillery, maybe stop shooting my own guys, please. Let's see if I can't get in range to hit their huacha. I think we're doing all right here so far. Yeah, he's protecting his artillery. Okay, maybe he's not quite as stupid as I thought, but we can still pull him around for a bit and just waste his time, and that makes my life a lot easier. We are at some point, unfortunately, just going to have to make a charge, so that's what we're going to do. Let's see if we can't flank this a little bit more effectively. Come on, draw that cavalry out for a second. Draw the cavalry out and then get in here and hit that huacha. Yeah, here we go, here we go, here we go. He's starting to leave it. He's starting to leave it. Okay, run, run, run. Get in there. Deal with him. He's about to hit me, and I'm going to take some damage. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Knew that was coming. We're ready for it. Once my cavalry arrive, I mean, he's going to get maybe 2 shots off, but these things are really effective. Like, they just obliterate artillery with no problem at all. So now he got maybe 1 shot off. They're done. Thank you. And then I'm going to draw his infantry into range of my cannons while we try to set up for the flank. That's right. Just keep running around and getting bombed, dude. I'm sure this will work out great for you. Yeah, his morale's about to shatter. There we go. Easy. Thank you kindly. Do we want to conscript from this? Honestly, maybe. I mean, more infiltrators could be situationally useful. Yeah, I'll take it. For now. We might get rid of him later, maybe not. Let's see what we can do as far as recruiting another unit. Unfortunately, I can't really do much with any of this. There's nothing I can prestige. We're just kind of perfectly in the wrong situation, so I can't fit anybody. I'd have to get rid of something. Am I willing to do that? Yeah, maybe so, because the other archers, the uncommon ones, do more damage and have a little bit better armor and more ammunition compared to this. So I think it might be time to start getting rid of some of these prestige units here. And we'll just take these archers instead. I think that's a slight upgrade. Now we could go to a shop, or I could go for an item. Let's go to the shop. I could try buying some stuff. There is spots for potions. So Runewell Nectar, fill all my empty potion slots with random potions. 25 gold's a little pricey, though. Or add a random unit to your army. No thanks. We could buy some common cards and try to go for some more prestige, but to be honest, the odds of that happening feel kind of low. I think you have to have 3 units that are of the same prestige level to go up to gold. So, like, I literally am not going to be able to fit, probably, enough units to prestige these guys up again. So I think we're really looking for replacements at this point. Let's look for better uncommon units and see if I can't do that. Some shield maidens instead of some of these worthless Huskarls levies. Yeah, I think we'll just go ahead and dismiss this guy. Shield maidens should be a straight-out upgrade. So we'll do that. And that is unfortunately all the money I have to work with for the moment, but that's okay. Let's go for another fight. Actually, we'll just go for an event instead. Oh, it tends to be a skirmish anyway. Okay. They've got Kitsune Blade Masters, terrifying units. Okay, as well as the artillery. Do we want to send in some of our own infiltrators instead? I feel like last time around kind of worked out fine for me. So let's not. Roll for initiative. We get to see their placements. They do have another goblin barracks, so we don't want to fight over there at all. There's their huacha, nice and undefended. So if I want to, we could send some outriders here and try to just go straight for them before they have much time to react, which I think we might be able to do. Plus, I can put my artillery in position to hit them right off the bat, and I think I want to. And this should be a mostly reasonable setup. We're going to immediately go straight for that artillery and try to hit them. And let's see if we can't do something good with this cavalry real quick. I'm hoping to just basically knock this out. They're all coming after me, so this may end up being a sacrificial unit, but it's honestly probably still worth it. Got it? Now run. Just run, run, run. Look at them wasting their time over here. Look at them waste their time. This worked out beautifully. Well, in that case, I'm just going to draw you all into range of my artillery and just let them kill you. Easy. Their infiltrators are now dealt with. Good. Let's get into a position where I can do a flank if I want to draw them into a trap. Why did it just act like I lost a unit here, by the way? I don't know. One of my Huskarls just ran away. I'm confused on that front. Why did he run away? Oh, they're getting exhausted now. Trying to charge all over the place ain't working so well for you, huh? No, sir, it ain't. All right, good. Good. Keep drawing them out. We're taking them out one at a time. I probably wouldn't qualify this as especially, like, sportsman-like or anything, but I mean, like, I'll take a free win when I can take a free win. I mean, they're getting ready to break at this point. They're so exhausted. Cavalry, man. They're not always strong, but when you can use them effectively, holy crud, they will obliterate the AI. Now, let's see if I can't replace maybe this levy with something a little bit better. Well, we actually could go for another infiltrator, which actually would prestige this unit instead. Which is a way of doing things. Okay, sure, let's just do that. Recruit another unit. We could go for more of these archers, more Huskarls. I mean, they're pretty good, but I don't have much in the way of anti-large, so maybe I'd rather do this. Alternatively, we swap out these archers again. Let's take the spears. Let's take them just in case. Pop into this castle, large garrison, artillery, no thank you. Enter town, heal up, don't have enough money, that's fine. Got another fight over here. No artillery this time. Okay. They have some infiltrators, they have some cavalry and stuff, but I mean, like, the range units here are the ones that can kill my cavalry. We gotta be careful about that. They can actually shoot me. We do have a melee defense option, though. That's nice. Let's go over here. And just like before, let's try drawing them away so we can split their forces. That makes my life easy. Their blade masters are gonna get artillery to death. Oh, shoot, but they are getting a good shot off on me over here. Yeah, these range units are actually fairly dangerous to me. So I won't be able to play this trick forever. They actually can keep up with me pretty well. Holy crud, they're actually got one guy in here and just shattered my bombardiers. One guy? That guy was like basically dead and he still freaking got me? All right, whatever. Trying to get in here for a good flank. There we go. All right, we didn't lose units, but that should not have been as effective as it was. Really didn't expect those blade masters to be such a threat. Okay. Well, let's see real quick what kind of unit I can get. Some more spears, more archers. Probably still better to get the spears than to keep these guys, so I can dismiss them for now. And then let's see if there's anything worth conscripting here. Not really, to be honest. Like, they had a bunch of rare units I could have picked up, and these were, like, all the worst ones. All right, never mind. Gonna pop over here where we can play a quick game of chance if we want to. I don't usually think it's worth it. And I'm about to heal, so I honestly can just skip this. This was just a free pickup while I get to this city. And we'll enter town instead of fight. That heals. Nothing really to recruit here, so this is going to lead me into a much scarier fight. All right, who are we facing off against here? Lots of artillery. They've got some Oni. Not to mention their own cavalry, more infiltrators, and they do have some range units as well. Dang, this is going to hurt. I don't think it's worth keeping this artillery, unfortunately. He's just too weak right now. Just one cannon's not a lot. I do think that using the infiltrators could make some sense. And maybe we just try this lineup? All right, auto-resolve says we would win, but take massive losses. Please deploy seconds. Yes. All right, what do we got to work with here? Hwacha here, Hwacha here. All right, so we've got to try to deal with that for sure. The Oni are a problem, but maybe I can kite them around later if I'm lucky. These guys scare me. If I can take out the artillery, then I definitely want to try to hold a good choke point here if possible. But we still have to be ready for the possibility they're going to have some infiltrators in spots that I'm not ready for. I think we got to do something like this, and I don't like it. All right, here we go. Where are their infiltrators? They're all over here. Okay. I think I want to do kind of a concave pattern here because I should be able to then flank wherever they are weakest. The problem is I really need some anti-large units to deal with things like their cavalry as well as their Oni. Maybe I want to swap this out just a little bit. Yeah, I think we're going to have to do something like this. Oh, they're coming straight for me. We're going to lose some units here almost certainly, but I've got to try to knock out that artillery as fast as possible. Please. Are the artillery retreating here? I think they might be. All right, pull back. I don't think we were able to stop them there, unfortunately. Okay, pull back, pull back, pull back, pull back. Ah, we lost that cavalry unit. Shoot. This is bad. This is really bad. All right, pull back, pull back. We're going to have to take a slightly different position here because they're just going to start peppering me. Their range units are so stinking strong. We weren't able to take out this Huacha. We're going to have to just try for it then. Let's see if I can't sneak by them with these infiltrators, keep drawing them on a wild goose chase. We've got to intercept these Oni. They're going to be a huge stinking problem. Their cavalry at least are starting to go down. Their Oni are taking some damage. We're running in here. They may take a shot at these infiltrators and try to kill them, but if I can distract them, honestly, still kind of worth. Their Oni are absolutely wrecking my line here, which is obviously a problem. I am trying to hit them with my anti-large units, but that's only doing so much. Come on, infiltrators, get in there and do some damage. Kill this guy off. You're really close. You should be able to do it. Got it. All right, now just distract them. Distract the rest. Okay, okay, okay. They're starting to pull back. They're running away. It's the Oni, man. The Oni were messing me up. All right, all right. Now we can set up a better line here and deal with this last unit. And then we just go for one really glorious surround on this guy, fully encircled. Okay. All right, all right. Second boss is down for Act 2. Woof. Still didn't lose any units. That's amazing. A major health potion. Yeah, I'll take that. We're going to try to conscript here on the off chance I get the Oni, and I did! I mean, all of these are really good, let's be honest, but the Oni are awesome. But what do I trade out for it, though? Guess we get rid of one of the spearmen, and then we can recruit our own units. We get Sons of Fenrir, more scary large units, or Varangian Guard. Now, these guys seem pretty strong. 130 armor's a lot. And there's Berserkers. These are all really good, but I think that this guy's just... I can't say no to that. That's way too strong. We can get rid of the Shield Maidens. They're too weak for me right now, and I have too many units that I need to heal. And this begins the third and final act, the Verdant Glade. We'll let the Oni heal a little bit, maybe the Infiltrators as well. How far are we from getting some heals? If we want to come over here to the Raven Host, we can, and I think that's where I want to go, so I'm going to take this path along here, so we have one fight. I don't think I need to rest here. I think instead I'm going to train and try to get something else prestiged. All right, we got a gold Huskarl. That's pretty good. Let's go to this forest. We're fighting elves. Oh, God. The elves are really good. They've got some exceptionally strong units, and they have artillery. Nice. Okay, we get to play second. No charge bonus, and we have missile resistance in the forest. Let's see what you have here. You don't have any cavalry. You do have artillery. I think instead of using my cavalry to directly hit their artillery, my best bet is to try and just draw some of these guys on wild chases. And then otherwise, we try to draw you guys far forward out of range of your artillery so that they're slow, get into a missile resistance area, and then try to fight you. Then again, if I draw them in here, my missile units aren't effective either, so that's a risk. Still, I think we're going to try to draw them forward, hit them with what I can, and then I will hopefully be able to surround and flank them, and maybe I can draw a lot away. Let's see what happens. Okay, drew off 4 units. Yes! For a throwaway unit, this Borderland Rider has been stupidly useful to me. Yep, just keep playing Ring Around the Rosie over here. Oh, I love to kite. It's so fun. And these artillery are completely stuck, apparently. They have no idea what's going on. Oh, you guys are in for a bad time. Okay, I've run out of ammo, but at this point, I'm just going to keep running because they're now all so demoralized by what's happening that I think they're all just going to shatter on their own. I mean, I would get demoralized too if you just were just taking all this damage and watching these guys just run around and your commander's like, no, get that horseman. I swear to God, that horseman is the one that has to die. Easy peasy. All right, now my Oni are ready for some fun. Let's see if it can't conscript a really good survivor. These Illyrian Sentinels are very good. Armored, armor-piercing, anti-large, stalwart. Oh, they're so good. I am willing to get rid of a normal spearman and then trade up for that, though we're going to give him a chance to heal first. Alchemist potion, gain 5 gold. Yeah, what else can we do here? Let's heal somebody up. Do you want to just heal up the riders? It feels like such a waste, but I mean, like, yeah, let's do that. They're going to take the longest to heal, and they've been very useful to me. Pop up over here. Let's see if we can't find a better item. Buckler shields. Shielded units are invulnerable to range attacks. I mean, that's pretty good. Am I willing to trade away a little bit of melee damage to make 3 units invulnerable to range attacks? Does that include artillery? I don't know. I'm willing to give it a shot. Let's do that and pick up the buckler. We could definitely fight and destroy this garrison. And honestly, I don't need to heal, nor do I need to recruit from this. And these guys will heal up anyway. Just fight it. And this will be easy because I can just send my shielded units up here, and they're immune to damage from the gate, right? I'm pretty sure they are. So as long as they're drawing the fire, there's absolutely nothing they can do to me. Good. We can loot some more gold, see if we get any better gear. Uncommon and rare range units get extra accuracy. That's really good, though. Like, 20 accuracy is huge. I have to take that. Do we want to deposit some gold? I think the answer is yes. But we are about to get to a shop, so we may want to keep some money around. I'll keep 40, which is enough to buy another uncommon pack. Let's see what we get. None of that is what I wanted. Darn. I was hoping to get another one of these archer upgrades, but okay. And from here, we actually could almost make a direct beeline for the endgame boss. We'll check for another item, see if it's anything better. Armor piercing on all range units. That's also very good, but I don't know that it's better than the armor I'm currently getting for some of these units. I wish I had more slots. I really do, but all right, we're just going to leave without the gear here. There's one more fight we're going to take over here just to try to get some extra money and stuff. It's more elves. They got a lot of artillery. Okay. But we have a lot of opportunities to heal here, too. So I'm just going to auto-resolve this. Try to conscript and see if we get anything better. All right, the Blade Lords are very good. I'm willing to get rid of these spears. We'll pop over here to this castle. It's just, I mean, I could fight this. Do I want to? I could just to get some more gold, I suppose, for meta progression, but at this point I want to secure the win. There's an event over this direction, which I will take. We have a potion to guarantee a critical success, so I'm going to drink this. And then no matter what, you get gold here. Well, I mean, sure, I'll just go for the critical success here and see what we get. 25 gold and gear? Nice. Well, okay. This would have been amazing earlier. Double loot from sacking towns. I can't use that right now. Too bad. Now we could take a fight, or we could go to a campfire, which I will do instead. I could prestige a unit, and I will. Okay, it's going to be this archer. Meh. Go back to a city, enter the town, heal up again, deposit all of my remaining gold. And now we get to go to the final boss fight. Now, if we can win the auto-resolve, there's no point in fighting this on my own. And we can, which means... Oh my gosh, you've got a dragon. Right. Well, we're going to just auto-resolve because at this point it doesn't matter. We win. And that's it. Done with Act 3, which means we have won a round. And I've also unlocked a new character, Freya Stormweaver, which is cool. Now, granted, this was on peasant difficulty. However, don't feel bad, because when you start playing this game, you probably only want to play on peasant difficulty for a while. Why? Because this is now going to turn my attention to some meta progression, and the most important way to make money consistently to progress your character is to win the dang run. If you want to increase the difficulty, you can, and it's going to do things to you, like, for example, you won't see the auto-resolve results, and you won't heal as much between runs, and so on and so forth, and that's great, but you really want to have some progression before you take on higher difficulties. It's just so much better to farm out the money at level 1. Speaking of upgrades, let's take a quick look here. This is what's going to make the game a roguelite. We have enough money sitting around, 171, that we will now be able to start looking for a few useful upgrades here. I've already got things where I start with some extra gold and get more gold from battles. I could also have some starting gear. We could increase the sell value of things, reduce the cost of starting gear, consumable slots, gear slots. I mean, generally speaking, you need so much money that, like, anything that boosts your money is kind of important. Like, increased amount of gold from ransoming enemies, especially in the early game, very strong. Let's pick that up. The big things you really want to get are things like extra gear slots. A third reserve slot can be huge. Extra healing from reserves, conscripted units come in better. Reduce the amount of gold necessary to get interest. Yeah, lots of really helpful things to get here, but it takes a long time to farm out money. And I think that's probably one of the gripes I've got with the game, is that progression does feel a little bit off, because you need the dang gold in order to actually win runs. So you feel like you really can't deposit gold, but if you keep losing runs without having deposited anything, you make pretty much no progress here at all, so it starts feeling really bad. You gotta find that sweet balance of, like, how much gold can I retain versus how much can I toss into this pile so I feel like I don't waste my time with every individual run. That could be a little bit more generous, to be honest. It really could. Anyway, there's also a load of different items that you will be able to collect throughout the game, which you can see a whole bunch of them here. We've got different units, we've got different gear, and so on. And as you start getting some upgrades, one thing you will be able to do with some of these characters is come along and say, hey, you start with a bit of money. And you have to spend some of that money to have certain units, which I could then modify. So I could say, hey, I want to have lots of tier 3 units instead. You don't have a lot of money for that, but you could do that. Or you want to start with certain gear items that help enable particular builds. Pumpkin Pie, for example, is amazing at the higher difficulties. All things to consider. Overall, if you really enjoy Total War's combat more than anything else, I think Tabletop Tavern is an absolute blast. And the fact that every run is going to be different as you start building up your army, trading around units, looking for gear to enhance them, that's pretty cool. I think the gear items could be a little bit more impactful just to kind of really change up a run. I feel like most of them are tame enough that none of them are really game-breaking, but some of them are quite good. And generally speaking, the unit variety is really, really solid. So if this game just had, I think, a little bit more generosity in its progression to feel like the upgrades aren't too slow or punishing to get, I'd be a lot happier with this game. But overall, a very, very strong entry into the roguelite sphere, especially from a solo indie dev. Very impressive. If you guys want to learn more about Tabletop Tavern, I will include a link in the description down below, and you're welcome to click on that link. Otherwise, thank you all very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If so, I would ask you to hit that like button, leave a comment, subscribe, hit the notify bell, and I will see you guys next time.